Welcome back to Accounts of the Night Beast, episode 3, Taking a Moment. Last session, the group raided a um, ambassador ship and absconded with said ambassador. That was the job, and they completed it. They were told to take the individual that they acquired and bring them to Cruciatu, one of the planets in the Dracian system. They were told to do what once they got there? It's a question to you
Kill
guys.
him.
What?
I said kill him. I'm kidding. It's not what we were told to do.
Well, if you remember correctly, Zach was told that if you do go for the uh, hegemony's ambassador, dead or alive, doesn't matter.
If I remember correctly, it was preferred alive,
Yeah,
but carcass regardless.
right. It was absolutely alive if you went for the Janeshin, but it was, if you killed the ambassador.
Yeah, I mean, alive works too.
But you were
Do we have
told.
a brig on the ship?
Sorry, go ahead.
Do we have a brig on the ship?
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
we do.
definitely
It's built
do.
in since we are the bounty hunter ship.
That's what I figured. Then why not just use it?
Yeah, he's in
No,
it.
wait,
That's
And, I mean, I know Tim's fucking.
it's going to be in the sick bay. You guys being Zach.
I don't believe that was the case. The person who was in the sick bay was the guy from the first session. This guy was
Right.
chucked right in the box.
Oh yeah, you're right. Sorry.
Yeah, so this guy got him in the brig,
But
taking him to the planet.
I'm focusing mainly on when you get to Cruciatu, the raiders aren't just going to be there and findable. You were told to do something. Do you remember what it was?
I have a beacon that we're supposed to use when we get into the orbit of Cruciatu.
Correct. So Cruciatu is a jungle planet, but despite being an uncivilized and uninhabited, I mean, who knows what citizenries remain on the planet from whatever times and however long ago. But the main thing is it's mostly a wild planet with very deadly flora and fauna therein. But despite that, the orbit around Cruciatu is packed with debris, old ships that have been kind of broken apart, salvaging groups that are kind of renting the old ships and taking their bits and parts away. Small communities that have taken home on captured asteroids, which have been left in Cruciatu's orbit. As far as livable planets, it is a bit bigger than your typical, Earth-type planet, and from what you can see, there's a number of different kind of uh, bits of terrain, but the main one is overrun with jungle scape, very green and lush. The picture that you're currently looking at is kind of skewed because of the sunset, but it's mostly green and lush. But that's it. When you get into Cruciatu's orbit, what do you do?
All right. I don't know about you guys, but after that, I could go for some bacon.
Sounds like an agreement. Okay. Well, if you throw out the beacon, you immediately get a response back, a ping, that designates a location high in orbit. And if you kind of censor that area, there's a dead zone, which means to say there should be at least minimal reading, like debris, what have you. But it seems like everything's kind of being cloaked in that area. As you approach it and get visual, you would see the ship that's being kind of shown to you right now, a larger, more capital class ship with two docking bays, one on either side, pretty massive bridge section, and a number of canisters on the front section. This looks like a very massive kind of space hauler. But you can see that it has the markings of the raiders kind of all about it, and it's looks like it's coordinating with one of those captured asteroids that I mentioned. And from what you can tell, knowing a bit about this kind of stuff, Matt, your character would know that the asteroid itself probably has some sort of power source within, and that's what's generating this kind of scanner dead zone. Makes it long-range scans won't be able to detect anything. Close-range scans will kind of recognize it as an anomaly, and it might be a bit more problematic for those on board, but what have you.
Gotcha.
Okay. Just let me know what you know.
Well, I was going to ask for the like hangars that are on the side of the ship. I'm assuming probably the shuttle should be able to like land in that. I'm not.
Your
assuming...
whole ship will.
Oh, okay. The whole
Yeah.
ship will. Okay. That
Yeah.
was going to be my next question. I wasn't sure if the whole ship would. So
To put this bad boy in scale, that ship that looks like it's coming out of the docking bay is only a little bit smaller than yours. Hull-wise, it's exactly the same. Yours is a bit wider when it's in flight mode, but when you put the wings up, it's about the same. The one that was first pinged.
gotcha. All right. Yeah. Then let's take our ship in for a landing.
Okay. And
And crunch this time. Try not to crunch it.
as you're kind of starting to approach, your sensors, your Urbot will kind of go, their weaponry is being switched on.
I mean, we got the beacon going, right?
We do. Yep.
All right. Oh, I don't know. Hail them.
Okay. Is anybody else on the bridge with Flynn? I get them mixed up. Sorry. Or no? Is it just him and the Urbot?
I would immediately start heading down the elevator for the from the bridge.
Well, there's no elevators in the ship.
Or either way, I'm going to where the guns are at.
Okay. So you're going
Yeah.
to tactical.
Is there any kind of alert system on the ship, on our ship? Or
Yeah,
basically
there's
like
an intercom system, probably a light switching system.
Okay.
But you throw up communications, Flynn, and you kind of hear a scrambled reception. Your screen display switches over to reveal a older gentleman, very looks like he's kind of emaciated, very like skin tight to bone looking fellow. He has a visor kind of like sitting on his head. Looks like it's kind of like an optical visor, and an implant kind of like replacing his right ear. When he kind of brings his hands up into view, you would see that they're very spindly as well. It looks like they're cybernetic. And as he starts to speak, you would notice that many of his teeth are kind of rotted, and a couple of them are kind of fragmented and broken. And he says,
Oh, so you're here to meet with us, is that right?
Hey guys, just as a thing, I found Cardiff for this campaign. Yeah, that's right.
Great. So then, you haven't who we're looking for then?
Yeah, we got him.
Great. Don't mind the weaponry. If you do anything funny, we'll blow you to smithereens. Slowly as it goes. Enter on in.
I mean, one of us smells funny. I hope that's not a problem. Actually, a few of us smell funny. Most of us do. Pretty much all of us. I take it in for a landing.
The screen goes away. You move into the docking bay on the left side of the craft. It has a couple of pallets with massive kind of energy sources kind of slotted in place. And you can see that there are a number of crates that look like they are sealed and marked with a language on it. There are a couple people kind of milling around and in the area, and then you can see that there are a couple of pirates, like the last time you landed on a raider's kind of craft or docking bay, that are coming out with auto guns, kind of looking at your ship as you start to land. The craft lands. Everybody would acknowledge that the ship has stopped moving. In any of the window ports, you can see that you're now inside of this ship.
Yeah, just in case anyone's like not paying attention, flip open the intercom system and say, you know, like, "All right, boys and girls, we landed." Well, boys, girls, and others.
Okay. And it's pretty much free range moving here, so just feel free to talk up.
Alright, well, I guess we should, get at it then. Deliver the prisoner, and then we can get this over with and relax for a bit.
So who is guarding the prisoner at this point?
It's currently in the brig.
Okay, is there anyone overseeing that, or it's just in there?
No, it's pretty secure.
Mo can go with the prisoner if you want. He has
Okay.
no problem with that.
You enter into the brig, and the slightly beaten up, disheveled ambassador kind of stands up. Okay. So, last chance. Whatever they're paying you, I'll double it. Just let me go through with the process. Take me now from here to where I need to go.
Can we assume Vieva is with Mo when he went in there? Because Mo wouldn't say anything about that.
I'm not assuming anything. You guys as characters need to determine what you're doing and just talk up
That-
about it.
Get that food out of your mouth.
I'm here.
You
If
have
you
to-
don't feel comfortable going with the prisoner, then I would definitely probably be accompanying you. But even if he says that, my answer is, sorry, we got a job. You know how it is.
You're really making a large mistake. The person you're traveling with is a renegade.
Which one?
I don't know what he calls himself now, but he used to be called Kane.
Yeah, we have one of those.
You know where Abel is?
I don't get the reference. Or how it was made across the ship.
So, are you going to elaborate on this mistake, or are we just going to be
Look,
ominous and mysterious about it, sir?
it's not my problem anymore. You got a job to do. So handle your business. I was offering
This
you
is
double.
accurate.
I was offering you double what you were going to get, and information regarding your problem. Might have been able to even get that brushed under the rug for you, but no, it's fine. I'm assuming shackles. He reaches out with his hands.
That's correct, Mo.
Field drops, shackles on, and he continues on. The shackles you have are very similar to the shackles that the Scion had, except that they don't kind of lock into place tempor or spatially. They're more just kind of pulse cuffs. And you take him out. Mo and Beva. Anybody else going out with them?
I mean, I might walk out just to take a look around.
Okay.
I would accompany them with medium gear.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, I would head out with them as well. Just to see the job through before I take off to do other things.
Kane's gonna stay on the ship.
Okay.
Oh, come on, Kane. If you come with us, we can squad walk. Because it'll be everybody.
That's so cool.
Just keep in mind, a lot of times when people squad walk, the ship that they were on blows
Blows
up.
up, yeah. You step out.
I have a reason for staying on the ship.
You step out, and as you kind of make your way down the ramp into kind of the atmosphere there, a very young-looking woman in kind of leather raider armor kind of comes out. She has two auto pistols kind of at her hips. She's not. She's definitely very well built in that she looks like she could probably like tango with any of your strongest fighters, face to face, fist to fist, and handle herself quite well. So she is very muscly, very corded, and despite that, her face has a certain kind of innocence to it, like almost childlike. And when she kind of comes up, she speaks in a gruff manner that definitely betrays, kind of her face a bit. But she says to you all,
Great, you got him. Good. Wonderful.
Of course. Is there anyone in particular you'd like to take prisoner?
Whoever. Get him. What did Nathaniel promise you?
All the credits. That's not what I would say.
What does it matter? We brought him to you.
I don't know what I'm supposed to pay you.
I believe it was 4 credits, no? Someone help me out.
I didn't get the details and I always missed them. So
I
this
did
is
not
out of
write down
character.
the amount.
Yeah.
Number I have on my notes is 73rd Legion.
Nice.
4 credits, you said.
I believe so.
Seems a bit fucking low. Okay, I'll throw you 6.
It might have been 10. I think it was 10 now that you say
think
that.
it
That's a
was,
bit
It
high.
was 4 when we...
That's a bit high.
Oh,
Nice,
well.
nice try. Very cute.
Can't say I didn't.
Major job.
pulls out 6 shards, kind of walks over, hands them to Vieva, who's apparently the voice of the group. It says,
If any of you wanting to stay on board the proudly sourced in Michigan, then you can. But we don't have too many amenities for you and your folk. There are some spaces down in Cruciato you could descend down to if you'd like. But again, not too much in the way of amenities neither. They're, well, needless to say, constantly overrun by wild beasts and what have you. So-
This I am aware of. I do think it would be beneficial if we were to dock with you for at least a day, if not 2, just for our crew to recover a bit from the previous encounter.
Sure. If you need to be repairs or anything like that, we could probably muster up some effects. It might cost you. You're already paying what you got from us, that's fine. And if you're thinking that you're probably going to be able to rebound off of that job to enter another one, we ain't got nothing for you unless you've got miners legitimists. And
Understood?
I mean miners, people who like pull things out of rocks, not young people. We don't have need for them at all.
Yeah.
Either way.
You sure? I got a couple of miners
Sounds
and a couple of
oddly
miners.
suspicious.
No.
Any people group.
We don't want no
How are they
miners
gonna-
of the young variety around these parts. They just get in the fucking way. And they're not too great down in Cruciato either.
Hey, but if you train them well, they can get to the hard parts of the ship.
Most be people doing
Quite well.
training outside of these parts. We're right here on the frontier. If you're up here in space, you're ripping ores from rocks. If you're down there on planet side, you're trying to find your civilizations, what been lost in ferns and jungles and what have you. They're all about there in the crazy world below.
any place where I can go scrap up some scrap to look for parts?
Like
junkyard,
I've
what
been
have you?
saying, you can find junk here. It'll cost you whatever who's got it's gonna sell it to you for. But that said, yeah, tell them Melissa sent you,
And she points to herself when she says that.
and they should be giving you a good, honest deal.
Thank you kindly, Melissa.
No, no problem. Next time you be seeing Nathaniel, tell him. Tell him I miss him.
She says that real low and kind of close, making sure people hear.
I just nod so as not to draw suspicion.
All right. Well, I've got captain and things to do. If you need me, just find one of the intercoms, and they should be able to place you, patch you through to me.
Much appreciated. And he goes to head back towards the ship.
All
Yeah,
right.
I'm just going to linger for a second, and I'm not going to speak till Quinn's gone.
Do you mind if I approach Melissa?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
I just walk up to Melissa, making sure I'm out of earshot of whoever the envoy was.
Kind of turns and looks at you.
And like to the side. I know it's probably without saying, but whenever you're done with him, make sure he doesn't make it off the ship.
Well, unfortunately, since you brought him in alive, we're going to try and get as much credit as we can from him. So we're probably going to ransom him back.
Any way you can tinker his memory before you do so?
No, not really. But if you want to change the bargain here, I mean, we're not paying you any different. So if you want to scoop his head clean off his shoulders, you can go ahead and do it. Just make sure you clean up the deck afterwards. If he's got secrets you don't want to be heading back to the hegemony.
One moment.
Enjoy.
And
Hey, lads!
Kind of gestures towards the people who are getting the prisoner. Hold him here for a bit.
Put him on his knees. I suppose
I got
I'd be
one.
liking to watch this.
When they hear put him on his knees, Vieva turns around. I'm like basically walking up the deck onto the ship, and I like put him on his knees. They.
What's going on?
And I approach Flynn. Flynn, you've seen him. It'll only cause us trouble if we let him go. They don't really need him alive. They're just gonna sell him back for ransom. We can kill him now if we need to.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's just business, though. It's not like I just go. I look over at the guy on his knees. I'm just like, hey, this is just business. Nothing personal against you. We're just getting paid to do this. We don't give a shit about you.
He turns his shoulder over. He turns over his shoulder to look at you, and he says, "Look, since I understand the options that are being put on the table before you, how about this? I won't come after you in any way, shape, or form, and I'll say it was the Raiders that did it, since they're the ones ransoming off."
Yeah, see, the guy gets it. He understands it's business. He don't give a shit about us either.
All right, good enough for me. But if we ever catch you again and it doesn't work out the way you said it does, watch your back.
You got it.
Vieva makes a note. Quinn doesn't care about street cred and walks away.
Quinn cares about us not being made out to the hegemony any more than we already have been.
Okay, as that's being taken care of, I'm going to waltz over to Melissa and just be sort of like, and sort of like in a hushed tone, and be like, sort of like, Melissa, got anyone around here that, like, enjoys putting money on the ponies, or, like a bookie, or like any sort of like good games going on, just something pass the time?
Us Raiders don't typically do a lot of having fun while we're working, and right now it's a pretty busy season here on board the proudly sourced in Michigan, so we can't really do much in the way of what you're talking about. When we get back sideways around Janchen, what have you, we might be doing such things, but we're here for a couple of months. I suppose it's because of our positioning that Nathaniel sent you over this way, or whoever have you sent you over this way to have conversations with us and drop off your prisoner.
Well, is there anything planet side at least then?
It's a fucking shit show down there. You can try and find what you can, but I'm telling you, it's if you've ever been to a backwater, imagine if that backwater had a backwater. That's
I grew up on a backwaters shit, so I know what
So
you
then it's more backwater than the backwater. I'm slipping in the frickin' Brooklyn accent to a pirate accent.
You had it going for a while.
Oh,
It was good. It was like Scottish or
was good.
something.
It was good. It was good Scottish pirate.
so that said, have fun down there if you want to go. You have free passage here too, but just don't mind the guns. We will be pointing them at you every time you exit and enter. And if something odd comes up on your signaling, then we'll have to shoot you out the sky.
Yeah, whatever.
You understand?
Just sort of like walk.
Raiders code.
Yeah, no, it's not personal, it's business.
That's right.
I just walk back to the ship.
All right. Anybody going to do any searching or ship traveling, like inside the craft, inside the proudly sourced in Michigan?
Yeah, as like Flynn, or is that Quinn? Whoever. As Flynn or Quinn leaves, Mo would look at the guy or look at Melissa and go, "Do you have spider soup?"
Well, holy shit! What the fuck are you? Interesting. I fly through these skies and I'm never not surprised by the weird things that the gods have made. You are a strange one, indeed. Spider soup, as a matter of fact, we do. Plenty. Since it's most of what we can get off Cruciatu. They've got some of the best brown recluse. No, sorry. Brown recluse is a real spider. Let me make up a fake one. Hold on.
Maybe they're giant brown recluse, because that sounds delicious.
A black pinto.
Green 8-jointeds come up from Cruciatu, and they're not too bad.
Mo would pull from what looks like a pocket, but basically it's like a pouch. It's a marsupial like pouch. He'd pull some credits out and be like, "I want giant spider soup."
Do I be looking like a lunch lad? It ain't high. Go to the cafeteria and have your business. It's free. No reason to bring out any currency. It's perfectly alright. I've got business, and like I said, I'm sorry, big red one. Enjoy. Heads away. Unless intercepted again, she will make it to the turbo lift and appears to be ascending directly up. That said, some of you went back to the ship. Some of you probably have plans to maneuver about the craft. Going left to right, we'll start with Zach.
I'm back on the ship.
Okay.
So I'm the first one back on the ship as well. When I get there, I want to buzz the intercom system and say, "Kane, would you do me a favor and meet me in the medical bay?"
Acknowledged.
I don't know if you want to play that out or if you want to do stuff on the ship first.
No, it's fine. It's fine. So then eventually, I would meet you there.
Now, Kane, please. And he gestures to a seat at one of the tables there.
Mhm.
I apologize, but I have a question I must ask you. This Mark that we just recently acquired, he seemed to know you. Did you know him?
Not personally, no, but I could understand how he would have known.
Would you care to elaborate?
I purposely haven't shared much of my past, but as you know, I have been trained in the way. But I had a difficult parting with my school. I was, frankly, the victim of some treachery. They forced me out, and I have been hunted by them since.
I see. And this treachery, what exactly was that?
I was falsely accused of the master's death. Or no, was it falsely accused of another student's death? Made to look as if it were my fault, when it was in fact the one who caused the trickery and is now the head of the school. And he wants to, I would say, cover his tracks.
Interesting. Why would he have targeted you?
Because I was the most promising student in line to be the head of the school.
And were you interested in becoming the head of the school?
That seemed like the natural thing to do.
I see. And do you harbor any ill will towards this individual?
That is a difficult question, Vieva. I struggle with that every day. But the way leads towards wisdom, and wisdom is about forgiveness. So I walk the path of forgiveness every day.
That is quite noble. I am not sure if you're trying to convince me or yourself, but
It is a journey.
understood. Now, this individual, would he still harbor ill will towards you, and is our crew at risk, sir?
Yes, and apparently yes.
Excellent. Well, I appreciate you being so forthright with me. To be quite frank with you, I didn't expect it, and it's appreciated.
Well, you have shown your noble spirit, and I feel a certain sense of responsibility to the crew.
Then are you going to share this risk with the others, or is this a doctor-patient confidentiality situation?
No, I think that the time has come. Until our recent encounter with the Scion, I had hoped that this rival would just take his victory and forget about me, but that doesn't seem to be the case.
And we've only been using pronouns. Do you mind me asking?
Asking what?
His name.
I'm trying to think of a name on the spot. Hold on.
It's Abel. Say
It's Abel. There you go. Abel. Perfect, Kevin. Thank you.
Well, thank you. I suppose that ends my line of inquiry. Would you care to join me for a drink?
I think some tea would be wonderful right now.
Just you do you, and he goes to make you a cup of tea. That's where the scene can probably cut away unless Andy has anything else.
He would just say, if I feel like my presence becomes too much of a danger for the group, then I would take my leave.
Oh, I think you'll be perfectly safe with us. Mo's proven to be quite effective at protection.
Indeed. You're muted, John.
Yep, you are.
Here we go. Yeah, so, sorry. Does anybody have anything they want to engage in, scene-wise? Does anybody want to engage in any scenes? Take that as a no.
Is there a training room on the ship?
On board your ship? Yeah.
Yeah.
Training
So that would be like the camera cutting into Kane's sweaty training in the training room, and he's like beating the crap out of like a training dummy, and you see him punching him really, really hard.
The training room's right next to the med bay, so I mean, literally a stop right after that, just walking over and getting to work on
So
that.
Vieva would hear the sounds of crunching and kicking.
Yeah, yeah, and if they've probably got the sense of what's happening. You're letting off steam, and there's a lot there. But Flynn, Quinn, Brunt, Mo, anything that you folks want to do scene wise, engaging in the ship itself that you're on, or going out into the proudly sourced in Michigan and learning a bit more about it.
So just a question, and maybe a bad question, but are we kind of like entering into downtime, and this is kind of, or is the scenes pre-downtime?
So we're getting into downtime is what's happening, and I'm basically trying to make sure if there's any kind of like discussion or action that you want to do before we get into it, then we'll it's done. I'm also stalling so I can get experience figured out.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, we'll say that to lead into downtime, I'll start walking the proudly sourced in Michigan, kind of looking for where engine parts might be, like places where I can potentially look for upgrades for the ship.
Sure. So if you're
for the crew.
if you're
John,
looking,
sorry to interrupt. As tradition, anybody that leaves the ship on an excursion, I would typically try and be with them as like a muscle or bodyguard.
So you're going with Quinn?
Whomever is leaving the ship. So yeah.
Yeah, it's probably going to be a couple of different parties that are exiting out on excursions. So Quinn sounds like he's going to be the first. So
anybody need help anywhere or want help anywhere in particular, or
if anything, I think in case I need to lug something back, Mo's a little bigger. No offense, but
Mo's probably going to be going and looking for food, to be honest. And Brunt is pretty strapping.
All right, Grunt. In case I need to lug something back.
No G, just R.
Run. All right, run. In case I need to pull something back to the ship, I could use some help.
Sure.
Plus, I can get a better idea of the lay of the land.
Okay. And Mo, it did sound like you wanted spider soup, so you're going to the cafeteria on board the proudly sourced in Michigan?
Yes, giant spider soup.
Okay. Kane's practicing in the training room. Vieva's in the doctor's office, and Flynn?
Yeah, I'm going to be in my quarters, just writing a letter to my little sister Annabella.
Okay.
Just send something back to her about whatever's going on.
Perfect. So, regarding experience, hold on a second. I would say that for advancement purposes, we've already discussed the desperate action rolls. Those have already been triggered in. I would say for the purposes of the last session, everyone's playbook specific XP triggered. I would say that Kane, and only Kane, would be the one who gains experience for you expressed your beliefs, drives, heritage, or background. And you struggle with issues from your vices or traumas. That hasn't really happened yet because we haven't gone into the downtime portion. So for experience for the last job, everyone gets a playbook specific experience trigger, and Kane gained an experience for the expression of your beliefs, drives, and specifically background.
How do we mark that on the sheet?
So
there should be a little bar up right above where it says playbook advancement. You just keep ticking it until you get to a full bar.
right.
So I get one or two of those.
You get one of the playbook specific, and then there should be one for there should be experience markers for individual
so next to insight, if you rolled a desperate action, there's like the 6 bars to tick up in prowess. That's there. But for your other thing, it's just a second playbook advancement.
Correct.
Oh, okay. So
It should be 2 ticks on playbook advancement.
Got it.
And then whatever desperate actions were already resolved at the end of last session.
Yes, that's right. So what happens when you fill up the bar?
Then you get a tick, and then you can raise one of the abilities that you have underneath that ability up one to a maximum of 3.
And what if it's all the playbook advancements?
If all the playbook advancements are done, then you get a new ability for your playbook,
Okay.
which would be
And-
Mystic for you.
And then looking at the book too, there's also the option of you can save up 3 playbook advancements to take a skill from another class.
Correct. Okay, so during downtime, let's go ahead and do the spider soup and also the engineering bit. So spider soup, you go into the cafeteria. There are a couple of people in there, raiders, a couple of people who look like they're kind of more physical labor, miner types, and they're just kind of sitting, milling about. They see you. Some of them kind of go in recognition. You walk over to there's kind of like a large kind of buffet bar. With guys behind it kind of working there. Looks like they're kind of sitting there smoking cigarettes as you kind of approach. One of them puts it out in an old tin of like macaroni, tosses it off to the side, then kind of like walks over to the windows and says, "Hey there, big fella. Can I get you anything in specific? You looking for something specific to kind of wet your whistle or fancy your taste buds? If you got them."
Yes, 2 spider soup.
All right. Sure. Walks on down the line with you, kind of gesturing for you to follow. You came in with that bounty hunter ship, huh?
Yes.
Cool. Yeah, I've seen that ship around. You can tell that he's lying. And he kind of takes the ladle and puts it into kind of a greenish-looking spider soup, and starts kind of dropping the ladles into one bowl. Places that up top, does the same with another one, and kind of starts talking to himself to just fill the void. You're not really paying attention because as the spider soup bowl kind of hits, the smell of it kind of assails your nostrils and it smells really good. So you take your 2 bowls and it looks like there's a table available and you head on over to it.
Wait,
Oh, God.
you call this 2 spider soup? Last place I was at, it was in big 5-gallon bucket. That was 2 spider soup. 1 5-gallon bucket was 1, and 1 5-gallon bucket was 2.
Look.
That's what I want.
Look, you can have as much as you want, but we've only got the couple of different bowls, so I'd rather not have to do as much dishes as is needed. We can't just give you like a vat of it. That's not sane. They're pretty decent sized bowls. They're not small or anything. Like
Too small. Too small.
he looks at you and kind of shrugs, says something in a language you don't understand to a guy beside him. The guy kind of nods his head, goes into the back. He kind of goes, "1 second." Guy comes back out with a large kind of just bucket, like an actual bucket, and puts it up on top. There's your second one.
Bucket spider soup is good.
That's all you're getting though.
Yeah.
You take the bucket and the 2 bowls and head on over. The spiders that make up the soup, you can see they're kind of broken legs, and some of them kind of have maintained their position, but they're like olive sized and kind of greenish in color, and it looks like they have not very long legs. But the thing about the legs is very confusing. Is it looks like they're like a bunch of like small little knots throughout the legs. You can see that they have 8 joints in each of the legs. So they kind of like curl in and like move weirder. Some of them have kind of congealed into these weird like little balls of just joints. And some of them have kind of popped their legs outwards. And you can see that they're kind of bent out backwards. It's kind of weird looking. But you're not terribly concerned about that because you're Mo and you're just got a spoon and are ladling that bad boy into your mouth.
Crunchy.
Yeah.
Surprising.
Mo likes to take the bucket up to his mouth and just kind of chug a little bit of it at a time, and then kind of chew up the spiders because they pop. It's delicious.
They pop, but the legs are surprisingly not crunchy despite all the joints. It appears that the soupification of the spiders has caused them to become more like cooked noodles. The legs.
Maybe like crabs, like soft crabs.
Yeah, I guess that's fair. Someone turned their video off in the middle of the game, so I have to do some rearrangement. 1 second.
So yeah, after I gorge myself on some delicious giant spider soup, I would head back to the ship, because then I'd be in the right mood
Okay.
for like
Well, I was gonna
train.
cut.
Or,
I was gonna cut
you
to
know.
Tim, actually, and Dan. Tim, you had to.
Tim carry something if he needs it.
Well, again, it's happening simultaneously. So, Tim, you head off to engineering, kind of making your way through. When you get back to like the back end of the ship, you would see that there's quite a few people on hand. One of them kind of walks over to you, gives you kind of a look, says, "Can I help you with something?"
Yeah, Melissa said I could come here to maybe find some parts for my ship. Maybe in the area of upgrades and whatnot.
We don't got much to spare. It's probably going to cost you a bit. And we're going to cut from there and snap right into downtime, since you are effectively asking for a downtime activity. So, on page 184, you have a list of activities that you can perform. Acquire asset, craft, indulge vice, lay low, long-term project, recover, repair, or train. Some people, sounds like we've already kind of come to some ideas as to what we're doing. So, we'll just kind of continue from that. But, as you can see, each character can make time for more than, or can make time for 2 activities apiece. You get 2 downtime activities, and that's it. But if you want to do extras, you can spend 1 credit of the group's credits, which is currently at a total of 6, I believe, for the group. You're at 0, right?
No, from the last, from the introductory job, we were up to 4.
Okay, so you have 10 total.
We have 10 total.
Okay, so you can spend 1 credit to do an additional downtime activity during the segment. But yeah, you can also spend cred to improve the roll. You can spend it after the roll to improve the result, rather. Acquire assets. You gain temporary use of an asset, such as a contractor, somebody you hire on to kind of stick with you, kind of a ground vehicle or legal ship module, which are listed in the book there, or a service, like a transport from a smuggler or driver, use of a warehouse for temporary storage, etc. Crafting, you study schematics and you build something. Indulge vice, you engage in your vice and clear stress. Lay low, to drop your heat and wanted level. Long-term project, which is kind of focus on research, establishing trust with a specific individual. Like if you wanted to do that here, you could like try and establish trust with Melissa, or someone on the ship that you haven't met yet. And then you can recover, which helps you heal your wounds. You can repair, which helps you repair your ship, or you can train, which helps you get experience. Basically, you can, if you train twice, you can gain 2 experience.
And then if specifically, because we have the prowess training module on our ship, if you train prowess, you get 2 XP per training.
Correct. A note though,
Whoa.
you cannot train the same track twice. So if you train prowess, you can only do it once. You can't prowess, then pay for more prowess. It's prowess and something else if you train twice.
Got it.
Right. What do you think might be? Think of anything we might need, potentially could need on the next job? What's your name, by the way, sir?
Bill.
Bill, pleasure to make your acquaintance.
Yeah, sure.
I'm Quinn of the Cara Dinta.
That's that ship that came in. All right. I'm probably
Yeah.
not going to remember that name.
Well, maybe one day you will. Not that you need to, but maybe one day we'll make enough of a name of ourselves. We'll
It's a Cerberus pattern, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. Recognize it by its wings. That's cool.
It's a nice ship. You know, it's my baby. I try to treat her right. Got anything that can help juice her up a bit in a bit of a pinch if needed?
So it's again. It sounds like you're moving towards a either repair or an acquisition of something.
Okay, so just to clarify, the special ability I have gives me an extra downtime activity to repair, and the repair activity costs 0 cred. So I
Got
got
it.
1 repair activity for free.
Okay.
For the
So we're gonna work. We're gonna work through the process here. You and Bill have a conversation for a little while, and you're talking, and he kind of acknowledges you aren't just shooting shit and aren't just some space jockey who strapped himself to the rockets of a Cerberus class ship, and is calling himself an engineer. It sounds like you're an actual engineer type. And so he, throws you some scrap that he's got, and he says, "Yeah, we got this on an older job, and we've been holding on to it just in case we've needed repairs. But we've been doing a lot of really down low stuff, so we haven't needed it." And so he gives you that ship for free. So if you want to perform a repair on the ship for free, that's why it's free.
Yes, definitely. I don't know where the damage is tracked.
So
I-
I'm a little confused. Did we pay the upkeep for the downtime at the beginning? Because like we're supposed to do the payoff first, which we did. We got the creds.
Correct.
Then we have to decide whether we're gonna do upkeep or whether we're gonna push the upkeep off till later. And if something like breaks, then you can repair it.
Right.
And then we also need to discuss whether we got heat or not, because that'll determine whether we want to spend our downtime getting that heat
So
off.
for the last
Right.
for the last one, you did gain heat, but it wasn't a lot. 2 points of heat.
Okay.
For
Okay. But
we kind of discussed it, but I think it was like right at the end, and it was kind of over. And that's because
Okay.
you weren't really in like line of sight for the frigate for very long. It was a lot of kind of fluttering through rocks and getting blasted at with a coherence cannon.
Yeah.
They tried to fly swat you, and you blew up the other ship. So there really
Right.
there really wasn't a lot of recorded evidence of your presence in the Cambion belt. So you did great
Got it.
there. So 2 heat mainly because a Cerberus pattern ship, was the thing that did this. We know that's the case. And if your ship kind of gets spotted out, it might be kind of pulled off, or someone kind of, come up tail you for that.
So on that note, we're at a total of 4 heat. 2 heat from the introductory intro job, and then 2 heat from this past job. So we're at 4 heat now
Yep.
on
Okay.
an 8 segment.
Regarding, sorry, what was the other one?
upkeep. What's our upkeep cost?
So that should be in your ship information, is it not?
Upkeep. It says systems plus crew divided by 4, paid at the start of every day. And so that's crew quality.
Yep, so whatever your crew quality is currently listed at.
Is that just like the thing that says crew and it's fully filled up for us? And I don't know. I'm a little confused where crew quality is supposed to be listed on the sheet.
Yeah.
Sure, crew quality would be...
That is a good question.
Potentially it starts at 0. I don't know. It looks like we had it tacked up to 3 for no necessary reason.
Well,
it looks
either
like
that or the sheet just automatically set it there.
So, starting systems, it should be, for a Cerberus, 0-3.
Okay.
Yep. And you didn't spend anything on crew quality when you started your ship nonsenses.
Yeah.
So it should be
And- So what is our system quality?
system quality would be...
I think that's just how many systems we have on the ship, right?
Yeah, which it started off as comms 2, engines 1, weapons 1, which you upgraded a bit. So whatever that value total, whatever your value of comms, engines, hull,
So
and
it's
weapons.
6.
So 6 plus 0 times, what was it?
Divided by 4.
Then that.
So it's like 1.5. So rounded up, I think.
Round
right?
down.
Round down.
Oh,
So it costs us 1 cred to do the upkeep
Does
right
it say
now.
does it say round up in the book?
I don't. What page is upkeep on?
It's on 176.
upkeep. 6 divided
It says,
by 4,
6
rounded
divided by
down.
4 rounded down. Yep, I just read
Okay.
that.
That's what I thought I read, but I was just double checking because I was
Yep.
going back to 184. So then that's your upkeep cost.
Yeah, we got 10 creds. Let's pay it.
Cool.
We have 9 creds now.
All right. So that being said, yeah, your upkeep cost. You managed to refuel, get some things back on board here. It looks like they are mining kind of power cores and stuff like that, materials that is oscillating materials that's radioactive, allowing you to kind of power up your ship and all that stuff. So your upkeep costs paid off, no problem. And then moving to downtime, page 184.
Now,
Yep.
real
ahead.
quick though, did Matt, did Flynn use his ability to break a system to push the ship faster?
No, I used that for the like getaway that we had on planet side,
Yeah.
but I didn't use that when we were actually like flying the ship
It was
just
on
because.
it was on the little floaty car.
Yeah, it was on the hover car, but
okay,
not on the
okay,
regular
okay.
ship because doing it on the regular ship when I didn't really have a mechanic and they were aiming guns at us just didn't seem like a smart choice.
Most of the repercussions that they got put them in a desperate situation in that fight. That's basically how it kind of ticked down because they kept on rolling pretty good. So I didn't want to be like, oh, I blow up your wing or something. Like it was
Okay.
kept on rolling.
that guy. That's the one. Yeah, it was him.
So we don't have any repairs then.
Not really.
No.
Okay. So at this point, I mean, I would say I'd be looking to acquire a temporary asset. Something that potentially, it might even just go on standby.
Well-
whether that's personal vehicles or some kind of like.
I was gonna say, like, first for just a couple seconds. I mean, again, the repair option is there, but it's free anyways. But you talk to him, get some scrap, just more flavor than anything else. I mean, he was
Okay,
flying
okay,
pretty
okay.
harsh. You're not really repairing it, but you're kind of like
Okay.
throwing some stuff on there. But what I was
Okay.
gonna say is everyone who's currently present. If you go to page 184, it's the starting list of like what downtime activities are and what's available to you. So what I would like everyone to do is to kind of go through that for a little bit and think about what your character's 2 downtime activities are going to be as you stay on board the ship. Now, if you want to say, I don't want to perform this downtime activity here on the proudly sourced in Michigan, I'd rather perform it down below on Cruciatu, let me know. It might change kind of like what the role will effectively be going against or what's available to you, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I actually had a question about that,
Sure.
John. Because my plan during downtime was to indulge my vice, but it sounds like there's not many places to indulge in my vice.
What is your vice?
Gambling?
Yeah,
That's why I was asking.
not here. If you try Cruciatu, it might be different.
Okay.
You could always try to get a game going amongst the crew too.
Yeah, I mean, quite honestly, with the fact that Melissa already said that we'll have guns trained on us and they probably don't want their crew distracted, I'm thinking that might not be the best idea if we want to live.
So, John, would you encourage us to be kind of gamey with who does the? I think it's a good idea personally that one or two people, depending on what we need, lay low. We do some form or fashion to try and lay low and reduce our heat because we're halfway to filling up the bar. And once we, I think, fill it up, we hit like a level of heat where we're like they're looking for us now.
Yeah. So again, the way it describes lay low, it discusses it as you, the character, are doing something specifically to reduce the heat. So a
Right.
quick example of that: if you had
I'm
decided,
scarring my face with
sure,
like a fucking, I don't know, something.
a chisel, that's an option. If you had said, "Oh, I want to blow up the ambassador's head," that'll probably stop some heat from getting on us because that guy might. I mean, he's saying he won't, but I mean, who knows, maybe he won't. Or you can consort with him to make sure what he says is going to be an honest give, instead of just him saying kind of flippantly, well, everyone was around him. Absolutely. Yeah, it's not gamey, but again, the person who you're thrusting that upon is not just going to be like, oh, this is the, the thing that just has to be done. It's something that they're going to have to think about, or the group's going to have to think about as to what they're doing to drop that. Otherwise, I'm just
Okay. I have a point in consort, so at least I won't be rolling at like a disadvantage type setup. So I'm willing to go consort with the captive, just to like kind of, and maybe part of that fluff is we work out like in the future, maybe if he needs us, you hire us first, we'll do a job for you.
Okay.
You know, it's not.
Okay. We'll have that discussion. So just to make sure, everyone right now is just kind of trying to decide what actions they're thinking about doing. So it sounds like one of the ones you're thinking about doing is lay low.
I think it needs to happen, and if I'm the best person suited for that, I'll do it.
Okay.
I have two other ideas that I'm kind of wavering between.
Okay.
So, like, thinking from it, like, what my character might want to do, part of what my character might want to do is go to Cruciato, and I guess it would be considered a long-term project, but looking for, like, trying to find an artifact to then research later.
Okay.
Or training prowess, just so I'm a little bit better in a fight.
Great.
One of the two.
Anybody else have any thoughts on what they're doing?
Yep.
So go ahead.
Yeah, so I was training for one, and I wanted to recover for the other. I had a burn mark from the encounter on the other ship.
Okay. All right, sounds pretty easy there. So you're going to be spending some time with Vieva, and you're going to be spending some time in the training room, just kind of focusing a lot and keeping to yourself during downtime mostly. Some time up
Right.
in the the meeting room, meditating, spending some time down in the
Right.
the docking bay.
So I could remove that level 1 harm.
Well, again, we haven't gotten that. We're not there
Okay.
yet.
Okay.
We're
And
just
then the
fo-
other
go
question.
ahead.
Yeah, I'm sorry. The other question is, I have 2 stress from the first session.
Mhm.
What happens to those stress?
They
Do
remain.
ever-
The only
they
way to get rid
remain?
of stress is to indulge your vice,
To indulge
which is a
your vice.
downtime activity.
That's what I was
Okay.
one of the things I was gonna do.
And
Alright.
John, am I correct in assuming that the only way to kind of like get a permanent upgrade for the ship is to level up our ship, our crew, or whatever, so we
Yeah.
get access to another upgrade?
Correct.
Okay.
I believe there's ways to pay for it, but I'm not focused too much on that right now. You can acquire assets, so you can add like a legal ship module to your ship.
But it's like temporary use, so
correct.
after the job it like blows up or something.
Yes.
Something was faulty.
Correct. Well, after like
Okay.
the next job. One
Right.
significant period of usage that makes sense for the asset, typically the duration of like one job. So the asset's basically set on standby for the future, and then like when you need it, you can basically be like, okay, well then let's do it.
Mm-hmm. If it's asset related, that's another one. Like
Again, I'm just
basically,
I'm trying to make sure everyone gets a chance to kind of fluff in here. So, Zach, what about you?
Yeah, my plan is to do a playbook advancement and then a indulging in my vice. My plan is basically for my playbook advancement, I'm going to be doctoring up a new chemical, and like for like a few days, I'll be working in the medical research bay, like putting a bunch of potions and things together and like baking up things, and then basically like 4 days later, I'm going to be snorting that shit.
Fair dues, fair dues.
And that's how I indulge in the vice.
So you are comboing off of yourself.
Going, yeah, yep.
Okay, perfect.
So I get the one playbook advancement for doctoring up a new chemical, and then the indulging my pleasure vice by consuming said chemical.
Fair good, fair good.
And taking very detailed notes on how my body interacts with it.
Dan, what about Runt? What's Runt doing during downtime?
He would most likely, like, I mean, is heat really? Do I really care?
I don't know.
I don't think I care. Should I care?
I don't know.
I'm asking that of the group.
Yeah, you should care. What are you talking about caring about?
Grunt's always been under heat. He doesn't care.
Yeah, like, fuck it.
I don't know. Just
Yeah,
being
our
Okay.
ability to operate could become more difficult with a wanted level, but having such a small amount of heat is hard to care about for you. I understand that. So, like, yes, if we had like 8 heat and we were flipping up into a wanted level, we might want to do something. But like, Tim wants to do something about it before we get to that 8 heat, because like we could fuck up the next job because we're already halfway there. You know what I mean? Like, we're halfway to a wanted level. And the way our crew tends to operate already is not.
I mean, to be fair, who's the one blowing off half of people's heads, right?
That's right.
True.
I haven't blown off anyone's head. I've just blown up their bodies.
So
Yes.
I would say one thing to kind of focus on right now, Dan, is if you have like a lot of wounds and a lot of stress.
I have 1 wound and 2 stress.
Okay. Well, then that might not be worth it. But I mean, again, it might be worth it to kind of get those down back to fresh too. So you may want to just recover and indulge in vice. You could also train.
I think I'm gonna train, and then I'll also, I guess because I don't really see anything else that I'm really much interested in currently.
Another thing, like the thing maybe Runt would look at is acquire asset is also like, let's say you talk up some like thugs in Raider thugs, and so that you gain their ability to on a future job call them in as backup to help us out.
Yeah, a contractor. You can call in
right.
the Raiders to help you out.
I
And
didn't
so-
really care for the Raiders that much.
That's fair.
All right.
So,
So
yeah. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna train,
Okay.
and then I'm gonna start like etching, because like I have carapace,
yeah.
so I'm actually gonna take a actually kind of a cool idea, a chisel. What you were saying there, John.
Well,
Start chiseling like tattoos.
I want to make sure you understand. So you are attempting to lay low. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. I'm not really going to give it to you for like body modification for just one character in the group. Now, if you had painted the whole ship like a different color, that would be one thing. I would say that's going to be a hard one for me to kind of give you. No, not really. Let's see. So
I mean,
you're
you saw my face when I shot the dudes.
yeah.
Isn't that what gave
So
us heat?
yeah, that's right from the first one. So you're
Yeah.
you're basically wanting to make your face look different through
Yeah.
scarification.
More exotic, but I want it to be tribalistic.
I'm trying to think what that role would be.
Like
Yeah, I get the I get the
Yeah.
movie.
Is he gonna there's a septum or something?
I don't know. Let me think on that. I'm gonna try and figure out what a role for that would be.
but that and training.
yeah, that
and
is true.
prowess.
The heat for the first bit did come from you, so that makes sense. Okay, and training prowess, and that's obviously just going to be firing drills and kind of getting back and forth from probably Kane, since the two of you are training. That sounds about right. Okay, and then did I miss anybody? Kevin? Sorry, I missed Kevin.
Yes. See, Mo's been like shot like by the bad guys and his own party a little bit. Like, so he has like 1 harm, and he has like a whole like 5 stress. So he needs to like recover, I think, from that. But he would also, if he has time, like to do a little training and maybe in the way, maybe like in the combat way from. But I don't know if he's gonna have any time. He's gonna have to do a lot of like recovery, I think. He has 5 stress and 1 harm. So there you go.
So, 5 stress is kind of at like the tipping point, I would say, where it's potentially useful to reduce it. Like I'm at 3. For me, there's such a high chance of overindulgence where like I'm not worried about my stress now anyway. 5 would be worthwhile. You have your full level 1 harm filled up, so you have less effect, or you only have 1 pick so far.
What you just said to me kind of sounded a little bit like Greek. It was like blah 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 blah
You got really hurt in the last battle, yeah?
Yeah, I mean, I did have a harm. I got shot pretty bad, and then the introductory battle before that, I got shot by Runt. I have to point that out. He shot me.
Didn't
So
he
in
get
the
shot
first
by
battle,
Frank?
that's all been healed.
I don't know.
John
I don't know
said he
how
kinda healed all that up.
Yep.
I don't know how this healing works in this game.
Well, we're working on that right now. But what I'm saying to you is the damage that you took from the initial game, you shouldn't have.
But I don't have any damage at all.
Okay, I think okay. If I didn't have my initial stuff, I'd probably only have about three stress, because I had a couple stress from the first time we had a game, and I just kept it going.
No. Stress stays. Harm didn't.
Okay. All right, then I'd have the one harm where I got
One
something
tick
happened.
of harm or one full thing of harm.
I don't remember. Do you remember what it was, Tim? Tim knows what it was.
It should be a tick. Because your armor ablated the kill shot. So.
Yeah, that's it. Don't get a kill shot. That's what I learned.
So if you have full level 1 harm filled up, that means every roll you make now instantly degrades to less effect. So that is something maybe worthwhile getting healed from.
Yeah,
And if you're 5 stress out of what? I don't know what your full track is. That may be worth trying to indulge, because you'll take it down so you don't get stressed out on the next job.
Yeah, now my vices are interesting, because one of them is faith, and the other, which is I think about that as in like the faith of the way, kind of hanging out with Cain and stuff. But the other one is indulgence, because I feel like our obligation, because I feel I have an obligation to Viave. How the hell do you
Viava. Viava.
Viava. Sorry. So yeah, that's it. It's Viava. So I don't know. I feel I have an obligation. I'd be helping. Maybe I'd help Viava out with the chemicals and stuff. I don't know.
Well, they can also help you recover while I'm like cooking on the side. You know, like that stuff takes time. You kind of sometimes have to set it and forget it. You know what I mean?
And Cain can help you with faith stuff while he's training.
Yeah, so maybe it'd be a combination of hanging out with those guys and recovering and helping them out, that sort of thing.
Okay, great. So indulge, vice, and recover. Okay, and did I miss anybody? Flynn said he's going to indulge vice. What was the other one?
So I was actually trying to figure out in terms of I was thinking through a couple of possibilities for like a long-term project. One of them actually being pretty much exactly the same thing as like Tim was saying in terms of looking for an artifact, like an artifact, but not for me to study, for him to study.
Got it. So the two of you
know
are
about
wanting.
my obsession though?
I would have thought that I would have. I was there when it all went down, and that was part of the reason why we started like drifting apart. What?
Is that a no?
I don't know. Is that a no, Tim, or?
It could be. I don't know if it'd be that obvious necessarily. I don't know, but if it's your call, your call. If you perceived it, then that's fine.
Well, the other long-term project that I could also consider is one that wouldn't really make sense in this context. I mean, the only other thing, because I don't need to. I have no harm right now. Here's a question. For crafting something, could I do something to like upgrade Crunch? You know, like sort of like aim for getting him to have more.
Page 282.
Okay. $282.
So the main thing is building and modifying devices. So you would be modifying the Urbot, but you would be doing so without any schematics or anything. So I would say not really. I would say that if you were to long-term project, try and
I was actually going to ask if I could long-term project finding some
schematics for robots.
Yeah, because I basically want to try to get him to have more functionality on the ship.
Makes sense.
to the point where like he might even be able to like fly it himself a little bit.
Okay. So it sounds like the long-term project tracking is combo brother time. Gambling is planet side as well, if it's anywhere at all. And it sounds like Runt is going to be doing training on board ship, and recovering, or sorry, no, not recovering, and scarification. But I will point of order. So when you first kind of get into it, Dan, you're not really you're not really sure exactly like what you're wanting to do. But the main thing is for that role, I'm going to be making you roll a doctor role, and I'm kind of forcing that choice on you because of what you said you were doing. I know that you normally pick your own skill, but I can't really think of anything else that would fit that spot, you know? So that's what I'm going to be making you do for that. Now, flipping over to... I'm trying to think. Vice Indulgers. Sounds like we have one who's shipboard doing it. That would be Mo, right? Oh, no, sorry. Two. Vieva. The two of you will be indulging your vices aboard ship. So I'd like for you to go ahead and get those rolls out of the way for me. You should be able to just click Indulge Vice on your character sheet, and it should throw the dice.
Any bonus die?
Not that I can think of.
Indulge that vice.
So you'll clear 2. And Kevin, same thing. You have 5 strengths.
Yes, I do. I have to hit indulge vice, huh?
Yep.
Okay, cool. What do you do for no bonus dice, you said?
No bonus dice. Okay.
All right.
So you'll drop. It says you have 6.
I think it should be 5.
Okay.
Maybe 5.
Well, set it to 5 and then reduce it by 2. So you should have a total of 3 now. Okay. So yeah, Mo, you focus on faith studies with Kane. Do you want to role play that at all?
Oh, let's role play the shit out of that. Come on.
Let's do it. Go.
I feel the way. What do I do? And I look at Kane.
Why don't you wipe yourself off a little bit first? You're covered in green goop.
And then my tongue would come out and lick a bunch of it up and be like, is that okay? A bunch flips on you too, probably like splashes.
Oh, gross! It's so gross. Yeah, sit down. Cross your legs. Close your eye. Close your eyes, all of them.
Mo would sit down and cross his legs, but he has tiny legs compared to the size of his body. You know, they're like proportionally weird.
It would be like falling over dangerous, right? Because of that.
Yes. Yes. And then he only has 2 eyes, but they can stretch, so he would close them.
So I would put my hand on his chest. Can I use the way to kind of?
Well, so this isn't a rolling dice or anything kind of situation.
No, I understand.
So,
I'm not.
yeah.
I'm just in terms of flavor. I could just like
Go nuts.
use my connection with the way to sort of ease the path for him to become more centered in it.
Yeah, perfectly acceptable.
Okay.
Like, mainly this is just descriptive. So, like, yeah, you don't have to ask permission for anything so long as you're not describing a scene
Okay.
where
Yeah.
you're, like, fully repairing the ship, clearing everybody's stress, or doing anything systematic.
Right. And so I teach him some breathing exercises, and you feel calmer afterwards.
And then, like, probably what would happen, I'm thinking, is like all of Mo's hair would like stand up, kind of like, you know, like when you have like goosebumps, and he'd be like, "I can feel it."
Now stand up. And then he brings him over to the training dummy, and he puts his hand on the back on his back and says, feel the way, and use it to strike the dummy.
And then I would probably totally like strike the dummy super hard and probably like it's like a big like probably like a sand dummy type thing, and he would hit it so hard that it would like rip open and sand would fly all over the place. And he'd be like, "Oops."
Perfect. Practice that.
I will fix it.
The good training, one grain at a time. Fill it back up again.
All right. So scene-wise, meanwhile, you're training, kind of running through drills in the same kind of area as they're going through. If you want to interact with them during that segment, you can. If not, you can.
I think that's fine. Just consumed with my training.
Okay. So you would note that Runt does have a number of different scars on his face that are kind of fresh. But yeah, he seems to be kind of focusing on his drilling, which he's done a couple of times in your downtimes in the past. Okay. So
Your energy weapons have low settings or thing. Because Kane would offer to use his speed to kind of as a target for Runt if he would set the energy at a low level.
I mean, I don't know if that's a thing in this universe.
Again, it's up to you guys. There's
You
really
can make it up.
Cool. Yeah, let's do it.
So you see him like zipping around, and Runt is trying to peg him with his like the little pot shots.
So it becomes the kind of remote training device.
Right.
Very cool. So yeah, target practice for moving targets. Perfect. And then I believe Dr. Vieva is getting Liddy for shitty. What was the
Tasting colors.
And the other one was it was downtime for Indulge Vice. But what was the first one specifically? Crafting?
Me?
Yeah.
It's I'm getting a playbook advancement.
Got it. So
by
training.
making the drugs. Yeah, it's training.
Got it.
But I'm training my doctoring abilities by making chemical drugs.
So probably a day or so into the matter, the brothers say they want to descend down to Cruciatu to check it out and just see if there's anything else to do because it's boring up here. That said, you descend planet side. You're given the coordinates to a civilization, air quotes, and when you kind of make your way down planet side, you'll note that there's a very large clearing, but even still quite overgrown compared to the rest of it. It's a clearing in this kind of section of the planet. There are a number of very large kind of white walls that kind of ascend and a number of spires which have a very similar styling to the Malice Fields on oh my god, my brain's not working. The main planet, whose name I know because I'm super smart, Parias. But they are much more clean, crisp, and less kind of like interconnected. But they do appear to have a very similar kind of styling in their construction. You would descend down and land on one of the landing pods on one of the walls, and be greeted by a couple of individuals who kind of exit out and say, welcome to White Harbor. You are here on business, or are you here on explorative matters?
Little of both, I think.
Very good. Well, if you are here for business, most of the representatives of the explorers guilds that are present on Cruciatu are here in White Harbor, and they should be able to interconnect you with any of the sorting groups that are out with a field at current. If you are here, the pirate voice did me in. Um, if you are here um, for explorative purposes, you must gain license and sign waivers so that you, in your potential demise, will not be held to account for the hegemony for the peoples of White Harbor.
I'm just going to. You said it's both me and Quinn down here, right?
Everyone's on the ship. I presume no one was going to
Or
left
is it-
behind. So they're still in the ship doing their own stuff, but the ship
Oh, okay,
is moved.
gotcha. Ship just moved. Okay, cool. All right. I'm going to take care of the business stuff first before any of that sort of stuff. So,
Okay. So when you descend into White Harbor, there's a number of different levels, and each of the levels kind of has like a kind of structure to it, and this is denoted inside of the turbo lift that kind of descends down and through the space. You could basically kind of designate what you want to do here, and there are a number of different departments. I'm not going to list them all. But if there's something in mind you have in mind that you're kind of focused on that you want to kind of investigate, you can definitely kind of just investigate that proper. It does look like in the ways of your specific vice, there are two activities that seem to lean towards that. It does seem that there is an arena, and it does seem that there is also a racing field.
gotcha. So just in terms of taking care of business before pleasure, I figure I should probably see if I can find any sort of like schematics or anything for an Urbot in terms of sorting out. I don't know, like any of the sort of systems that it might have, so I can actually like build some improvements.
Okay. So they would kind of designate you to the archives. It seems that this is kind of on the lower levels of White Harbor. And when you descend down there via turbolift to those locations, I do want to make sure I've got this right. Quinn, you're going as well?
So okay, do we think we need to reduce heat as a crew?
Well, someone's already done that. I haven't given them their role yet for it because they're still kind of engaging in the process, but there's someone who is laying low.
Okay, okay. If that's the case, then
And
yeah.
I'm focusing mainly on, are you going, because this is kind of like a your vice, because you're wanting to learn more about stuff. He's going to the archives, which is this place in White Harbor that appears to be related to materials.
If anything, like I don't want to indulge vice, but I would see this as maybe a long-term project of
Okay.
working towards
That's fine.
acquiring.
The main
something to
question
then indulge later.
the main question I'm
So, yeah.
asking is are you going with Flynn down to the archive?
Yeah, I'll go with Flynn to
Okay.
long-term project this.
Cool. So the two of you descend down. When you arrive, there is a gentleman who is present. Appears to be the only person kind of present in this main kind of open office space. Sitting behind a desk, which is kind of sectioning the room that you're in and the room that he's in. And he kind of sees you approach, looks to you and says, "Welcome to the archive of White Harbor, Cruciatu. How may I assist you? Do you have a drop off or are you wishing to pick up?"
Pick up.
Do you have an official documented order for pickup?
I just sort of like pause and look at Quinn like, what's he talking about?
Tourists. You're a rarity. Not many people willingly come to Cruciatu. Fair enough. You're seeking relics. Are you attempting to get into the game?
Yeah.
Interesting. You look like city types. Interesting. Well, If you are wanting to perform activities for the archives, we can definitely use the assistance. Not many folks who exit out into the wilds return back. And those that do don't typically do so in one piece. But there are a number of sites. Most of the ones close to White Harbor have already been rifled through. But there are some that are farther afield. Do you have a spaceship, or are you a guest here by some other person's charity?
We got means of travel.
Perfect. Well then, I might have a objective for you to accomplish. You are seeking information here, though, I presume? Someone gave you a misguided piece of information regarding what happens down here in the archive?
All I know is I was told that down here there might be some artifact. So
Yeah,
take
someone
it, why
mentioned
not
Earth stuff. Why not
come to the place that knows things, right?
We have
take a look?
artifice down here, that is true, but we aren't really willing to lend it out or grant it to people who aren't proven worthy. If you are willing to promise your ship and assistance in further matters, I might be willing to part with some information that might help you work towards something. But otherwise, I would have to say that our conversation is at a terminus. Not really much more that we have to discuss.
I look over to Flynn and give him the eyebrow raise of, we doing this?
Flynn just sort of shrugs, ain't got nothing better to do.
Yeah, what do you got?
Well
Well,
then.
You scratch your back, you scratch ours.
Well then. First matters first. I have something of a situation I would like to have dealt with. It's not ready
Do
yet.
things very efficiently.
Well, my job is not ready yet. It will be some time. But I think that if you are here seeking information, I can try and garner what it is that you are endeavoring to accomplish. Some people have a different understanding of what the were and what their potential, what potential lies in the things that they left behind. Some people see it very differently, and I would like to have an understanding as to what it is that you think you're looking for, looking at Flynn specifically.
I mean, I got an robot that helps me fly the ship, and I'm just kind of...
Modification.
Yeah, he's useful, but he could be more useful.
But not replacement.
No, I mean, Crunch is a little bit crazy. First time that I thought he might have more brains about him, but
And
let's
you,
just say he got the
But he's
nickname
not
Crunch
attached
for
to
a... Yeah, he got the nickname Crunch for a reason.
you say you have a ship.
Yeah.
He asks for proof, and if you grant him the proof that you have a ship, then that's fine. That's just kind of handled.
Yeah. I show him my ship registration.
Yeah, he kind of looks at it flippantly, not terribly interested in the details, more or less the proof of it. And he kind of nods his head. Fair enough. I don't have much in the way of direct schematics, more fragments. But I do have something that might be of use to you in the future. Pulls out a piece of stone and kind of sets it out. You can see that there's kind of some information kind of present in the language. I would say the best way to kind of describe what he's kind of set out before you is it looks like someone took a blueprint and kind of printed it out on a piece of rock, and the piece of rock's kind of been broken. Now this was found a ways away from here. And it might have some part in kind to where I would be sending you. You see, I have a passenger who needs to be delivered from White Harbor to a small settlement not too far from here, a place known as Retributor Gold. If you were to take my vassal to this place, drop him off and make sure he's delivered safely, then I would part with this piece and inform you that not too far from Retributor Gold there is a site, excavation site FA, that was being worked upon where this item was found until the entire site was taken over by Murlap dragons.
Interesting. Out of curiosity, the Murlap dragons, what color are they?
They are brownish red.
Okay.
What do you got to fear from them? They crap fire or something?
No, they're about 12 feet long, massive teeth, all incisors, that can run through even the most durable of plating, plasteel, carbon, or ceramite, what have you. Blaster fire is effective, depending on how it's hit. It's been said, from what I recall, that during the specific attack, as I've mentioned, a swarm of about 100 of them descended upon the excavation site, ripped the archaeologists limb from limb, and destroyed their detachment of guardians, hirelings who worked for some guild or another.
Yeah, plus everyone knows the fire-crapping ones are green.
Here you go again about your weird myths about the green crapping fire dragon.
I've never heard of such a thing, so I wouldn't know about it.
Thank you.
Listen, just because you haven't heard of it before doesn't mean that it ain't true.
Fire's involved, it's red. Everyone knows this.
Any wayfarer would know that it's more than likely that it exists than it doesn't.
See, this guy gets it. Why don't you?
And that can be said of most things.
I've dealt with your crap for a long time, and I know when you're pulling it out of your ass.
Now, was it fire that he was dispensing upon you? Perhaps he's one of these dragons that you speak of? Fire-crapping dragon. I'm sorry, it was an attempt at a joke. A failed one, but an attempt nonetheless.
Solid effort. I'll give you 2 points.
I don't know what I will do with those points, but I have them and will hold them close to my heart.
You'll do
It really
nothing
don't
with those
matter.
points. It's worthless, just like everything that he says.
Fair enough. So if you wish, you can take this section of the tablet, and when I call upon you, I would hope that you would be ready to receive it, my information. The tablet by itself may not be terribly worthwhile to you, but perhaps as you proceed further on, it might develop into something a bit more suitable towards your ends. Tim, go ahead and well, no, there's no rules. There's no. You look over at the artifice, the tablet as well, and are seeing that whatever it is, it's more than just kind of like a modification to an Urbot or something to that effect. You're sure that if this tablet were kind of fully realized, not only would it serve as something that would help Flynn, but it might be something that kind of serves to help your kind of just desire to know more, because it seems like it's a very small kind of segment that it's being kind of discussed here in modifying an Urbot. Like it's an addendum that's not fully realized on this section, but it'll be fully realized once the tablet's placed. But there's like references to more that will be on this tablet that'll be like, ooh, worth getting. So as far as long-term project, the tablet, this section, will serve as both of yours.
How many segment clock would this be?
I don't know. I didn't see it when it was broken. He says, but out of character, it is a 6-segment clock, of which you have one part.
And we have how many segments? One?
Correct.
One.
Cool.
Okay. Everyone else is on Cruciatu as well, so if you want to engage in any other things, but as far as downtime activities, it's going to cost money from this point forward. I think I need one roll from Dan. Go ahead and make a doctor roll.
What's my
John.
condition?
Do I still technically have one downtime? This would be a long-term project, and then I'd one other.
What did you say your What did you say your other one was?
I was potentially either at this point I'd probably just since I'm not laying low, I was going to train on the ship.
Got it. Okay, that's fine.
But that can happen when I get back.
So, 1 second, Dan. That's a great question. So when it comes to downtime activity, lay low, maybe you can sort with your friend. I guess. Okay. So you will be making the roll. Just base. So it's just going to be just it doesn't matter. The results are different position wise and whatnot. I just need you to roll the dice. Is mainly so standard and or risky standard is fine.
Can I use a gambit or?
Yeah.
No, I can't use anything like that.
Yeah, I said
correct?
gambits are more for jobs. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So a 5 would say that you're. Oh, I see. That's Oh, I see. Okay. So you only need to roll if you have wanted levels. I got it. So your heat's reduced by 2 in the system. With that, it would have been reduced by 2 regardless. If you had wanted, and there was a wanted reduction clock, and you had rolled that, it would have been reduced by 2, the reduction clock. So we're figuring it out. But yeah, so your heat for your crew, because you are no longer looking like you looked when you were captured on candid camera, is now reduced by 2.
Nice.
Okay?
Sounds good.
Whoever wants to keep track of that.
I marked it.
There's a marker on the ship.
Yeah, I know. Okay. Does anybody...
I did a recover. So does recover require a roll from Vieva?
Great. So recover. So you roll
Yeah,
crew
187.
You roll crew quality. To see how available and effective the doctor you can hire is.
What's that?
And I just roll doctor.
I see that in the next paragraph. Yeah. So go ahead and roll doctor instead.
Perfect.
Risky standard, obviously. Doesn't matter. It's going to be its own result over here. Okay. When you receive treatment from the recover action, clear all level 1 harm. So
Okay.
that's that. Then you, if you have a healing clock, which you don't, that's what the roll would be needed for. I see.
Got it.
Similar in kind to laying low. So basically, if you have all level 1 harm and you recovered, it's gone.
So is the first paragraph kind of assuming that there's not a doctor around?
Yeah. So you would basically roll crew quality to see if you can find a doctor to hire on, and then recover with a doctor on ship. They just roll it for you, and if you want, you can try and treat yourself. So if Vieva was trying to recover and use their doctor roll, then they would need to suffer 1 stress to do so.
I assume I'm going to catch Vieva before they're tripping.
Mhm.
Yeah. I can doctor on drugs. You've all seen House.
Yep, 100%. Okay. Does anybody have anything else that they want to do on Cruciatu?
We
yeah.
I never indulged my vice in terms of.
Sorry, thank you. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Which of the two methods do you want to engage in? Arena or racing?
I'm more of a ponies type of guy.
Okay. So,
So
what you'll note is that when you kind of go to where that section is, you can see like there's kind of 3 levels of wall at White Harbor. The one that's the smallest appears to have a very massive kind of track atop it that kind of goes from point A to point B. It's a pretty simple, straightforward affair of moving from one side to the other, and they appear to be using these very strange, kind of augmented hover cars that are basically just actual starship engines, like as their back ends, that they use to move very quickly across these walls to get to the other side. Most people watch it from the wall adjacent. Some people watch it from the spires, but you basically are watching the races as such. So go ahead and indulge.
1. Ugh.
All right.
Well, guys, I went from 7 down to 6. So
It's just not doing it. Like I mean, it's nice, but it's just not doing. Do you want to pay a cred to indulge again?
I think I might do that just because, like, I only have 3 stress slots left to do
Yeah.
anything with.
Go for it.
So hopefully I can roll better than a 1. A 2.
Okay. Do you want to
Yeah.
spend? Do you want to spend another one?
Nah.
All right.
Why are you wasting our crew's money playing the ponies? You know it never works out.
And
My
it doesn't.
Gosh.
There really aren't much. There really isn't much in the winnings.
Planet sucks worse than our home does. Didn't think that was possible.
Well, yeah, you always find new lows wherever you go. Doesn't mean you need to waste money doing it.
Also warned you. Okay. So that's it. Let's see. Hold on. Couple of different leads. Naturally.
Wait, I got a question
go ahead.
here. Wait, sorry to interrupt you. I think, I mean, I don't understand the rules to this game all that well, but I thought you could do like 2 things, and I think Vieva and I only did 1, where we got rid of some of our stress. But does that mean we could do another thing?
You indulged vice, and then you were supposed to be doing something else. I think you were recovering.
Yeah, well, what do we do for that?
So it's a doctor roll, but if you have only level 1 harm, you just get rid of all your harm.
Oh, okay. Yeah, then I just get rid of my harm. Okay.
Yeah.
I just wanted to make sure I did everything I could do.
Yep.
And just for the record, when I got back ship side, I would have Runt give me some blaster tips and train prowess.
Okay. So yeah, you spent some time. If you do want to roleplay that scene, you guys, are kind of keeping away from Mo and Kane, except for occasionally Runt will do target practice games with Kane. But yeah, if you two want to roleplay it out, go nuts.
Hey, Runt. You, I mean, apart from playing with the ship systems and, blowing that thing to Kingdom Come, it wasn't really much use. Mind showing me how to use a blaster a little bit better, so maybe a little more confident when you need me in a pinch?
I mean, I can show you how I use a blaster, but I mean, really what it comes down to is it a part of you, or are you just trying to, make, get the job done? So, I can't, I don't know, kid, I don't know, it's hard to give advice. You just gotta do it. There's no silver bullets here.
Well, how about this? You watch me take a few shots and tell me what I'm doing wrong.
Sure. Okay, I can try.
So I hold
Alright.
the blaster like this, right? And I'm holding it sideways.
All right. You just gotta shoot more. A lot more. Preferably not around me. He walks away.
Real help there. Thanks.
So you'd be able to see that Runt has set up like target practice shooting, and you engage in that. I would say that when Runt comes back around to engage in training, sees you doing it, kind of just stays clear and goes shoot at Kane a bit. And then you see that, Runt's shooting at Kane, and you go to Kane and you say, hey, can I try that? And so you do that. And so Runt sees his opportunity to get back to what he was doing when you took over his, designated target practice. And he goes and he does that. And then you, go over to, ask him, concerns, but you're still holding a blaster. So Runt kind of just, maneuvers around a box and is like, nope. And then about halfway through the process, he's gotten to such a scarification level, you hardly even recognize him, but he is the only Haroon on the
Show your
ship.
face.
So
I
it's
thought you were ugly before, but man, you really upped it up a notch.
So you're gonna insult the guy that you asked target practice? What
And
is
avoided-
wrong with
and avoided you.
Have you seen me with my brother? I bust his balls all the time. It's a sign of
Yeah.
respect. Sign of love.
Alright. I'm gonna go get some ramen.
Amen.
okay. So we've gotten downtime pretty much settled. Do we not agree?
Yeah.
Okay. So at this point, it kind of comes to a decision. What do you want to do? You can engage with the archivist in the Cruciatu. You can try and move to a different location to see if you can't find another gig. But basically, the raiders don't really have any jobs for you right now, specifically here at Cruciatu. If you want to try and investigate White Harbor to see if there's any places that are available that might have gigs, you can do that. But so far, as I say, the only kind of lead that you have is the one with the archivist. I would say there's also an opportunity for a fortune roll here too. I would say, since there isn't really much in the way of jobs, if you wanted to kind of leave it up to chance and make something kind of random happen, we could do a fortune roll as well. But it's up to you all.
I try to sell the archivist job to us, the crew.
Yeah, I mean, I was going to try to help with that just because.
Give it to me.
Do you have an artifact? You have an artifact?
Yeah, I mean, I have the the piece of. I want to say stone. I can't remember what the.
Isn't
Yeah.
it like one of
piece
the
of
mystic's
tablet.
things to understand are artifacts?
It can be. Some people can just, translate it. This looks like it's a schematic. It doesn't look like it's very mystical. This is more towards building robots than anything
Okay.
else. I wanted to mention something, and you didn't really get a chance to do it. But back when you were aboard the Proudly Sourced in Michigan, it did seem that there was, in the engineering section, kind of like a very strange looking plaque that was kind of set on that, and it looked like it was made from the forebears. It looked like it was made out of some kind of greenish metal, or at least a metal that was kind of tarnished green. And from what you could tell, it looked like it was a part of some kind of larger device. And it seemed to have a bunch of strange letters, and the top ones were kind of really strange. It was next to a weird square with a bunch of strange squiggly marks, other strange kind of weird lettering, a strange series of arrows kind of pointing in almost like a circle, but more like a triangle. Excuse me. And it, according to small notes that were kind of attached to it in the basic tongue, it says the only words that were translated from this strange device were the words as mentioned. The devices that were present with this inscription were used to help build this ship. The ship was named Proudly Sourced in Michigan. Michigan is not a word that you know. It's definitely a strange word. Could be related to like a place. Could be related to a person. You're not sure what.
Hey, Bill.
Yeah,
What's that,
rewinding fast to that. Yeah, Bill says, "What's up?"
What's that piece of scrap on the wall doing?
Yeah, most of the parts of the engine are built from this strange artifact that was found in Cruciatu. It was, yep, a strange device to be sure.
You what? You guys still use it on the regular?
Well, that part, no. But there are parts that were part of that thing that are in there. He points to the engines.
If I'm around here much longer, mind if I take a look at them? Maybe glean what I can from thing on the wall, thing on the engines.
They run pretty hot, kid. We're not really going to turn them off, so it's going to be hard to see what I'm talking about. But he shows you like a schematic he has on his data pad, and you can see that it looks like out of character. It looks like what you would, as a Tim, would acknowledge as like a bottling device. Basically, like cylinders and kind of like segments. Like if you've ever watched like how it's made, and they've shown you like bottling devices, that's what this looks like inside.
And like from my brief like look at it, do I think like if I could work at deciphering that schematic, do I think I could potentially increase the output of our engines or something with it?
No, because the device would need to be utilized. Like you would need to have the device. It seems like whatever it was made out of some strange materials that are not materials you have on hand. And it looks like the device inside isn't perfectly schematically drawn. It's more like you're looking at a drawing of the exterior of like a bottling facility, and that was just settled in there, and it says artifact, and then it says proudly sourced in Michigan, kind of written on it, kind of denoting that as part of the old engineer or the old device.
Okay. So, do I think there's any benefit in seeing if I can acquire the artifact from the wall? That
they're not giving you anything, and if you try and make moves for it, the raiders will kill you.
No, okay, no, it would all be like jovial, kind of talking, trying to.
Yeah, and basically, as it comes to a, maybe I can borrow it, or maybe I can take a look, they're gonna be like, oh, we'll fucking kill you.
Okay.
The raiders, and it's their shit.
No problems there. I'm not trying to stir no pots, just asking questions.
Fair enough.
I'm of the inquisitive type.
But the ship is definitely of a classification that it looks like it's basically a bunch of ships that have been kind of smashed together from your Starsmith's Guild's kind of mentality. It looks like the engines were built out of artifacts and also other engines. So, quite a...
Now, do I get the sense that he might be willing to send me a copy of those schematics in case I ever get my hands on materials to build it?
Yeah, I mean, he can send you a schematic. Like, the main thing is the materials,
Bill, mind sending that schematic
Done.
away, a copy of it?
Done. But like I said, like, you would need the whole big-ass core of bottling thing to kind of copy the part, is what I'm saying. You're not going to rebuild that.
Just watch me.
Fair enough. Anyways, fast forwarding back to
20 clock segment of long-term project.
Cruciatu side. It sounded like the twins were going to try and talk to the rest of the group regarding something.
So, gentlemen, and not quite shuz, we have a proposition for you. The archivist down on Cruciado has a lead. Something to do while we kill time and lay low. Myself and that guy over there would like to suggest maybe going on this endeavor to help him. The pay may not be great, but but it's basically just a mop-up of some poop, fire, lizards, dragon things.
Wait,
I think
Wait,
Mo could probably eat them for breakfast. They might taste good. Who knows? A new
Fire
delicacy.
lizard dragon thing. What?
The red and brown dragon.
Yeah,
They're
you
about
know.
12 feet long. Glasses can work. So
They're
Ron
big,
will-
they're annoying. We can kill them.
Yeah, and then Mo can meet him afterwards. Make a new recipe. What do you say? I figure we got nothing better to do.
Sorry, I'd like to circle back. You said the pay is not great?
We don't
Well-
know what the pay really is yet. It's going to be in. We might be able to find something and recover something that they might pay for. It's
This
kind
is
of
part
like
of a return of favor for, he helped us out a little bit with something while we were waiting around here.
yeah, it's like a. you
Sorry,
start
I'm
back, we
I'm
scratch his.
extremely confused. Did you already commit us to this job?
No.
Not
Maybe.
committed, just highly
Maybe.
persuaded to.
Yeah.
What favor did he do?
Well, he's going to give us some information. Think of it as a personal favor to the both of us. Really, it's going to help us upgrade Urbot, so that
Crunch.
he can do
His
more
name
stuff.
is Crunch. I keep telling you that. You keep calling him Urbot.
Well,
He has
that's
a
what
name.
isn't he?
Yeah,
He-
but his
he has
name ain't
not done
Urbot.
He has not done enough to help us to be considered given a name.
What are
Until he
you
gets us out
talking
of a
about?
pinch.
My gosh, you are such a prejudiced asshole.
Where is
You
this
know how
happening?
many things I've had to fix because of
Hold
his
on. Wait.
helping?
Where's this happening?
Just
Probably in the meeting room.
yeah.
Well, okay. So, is the Urbot there or no, Matt?
Probably.
No. If like
Okay. The
he
inter-
mostly stays
the-
in the
the intercom
pilot
chimes
area.
up as if someone was listening in on it, like the last time, because that's kind of established. And you hear him say, "Quinn, what do you call that strange lizard you keep in the, or the strange monkey creature you keep in the engineering room?" And then you hear a mic drop sound.
Rocket, and he's helped me a lot more than you have.
Hey, Crunch has helped me plenty. You stay out of this, and you keep your monkey out of the way, and make sure to
Monkey,
clean up his
if
shit.
anything,
Yeah.
it's more like a red panda. Get it right.
Whatever it is, I keep walking around down by the engines, and I keep stepping in stuff that's brown, that smells, and that's from your little friend.
If you want us to,
Hey,
our help, you need to
probably
be a
his
little clearer
leftovers
with us.
From whatever he ate, and he is a little messy. I'll give you that, but he can help out in a pinch.
Yeah, he can help out in a pinch. If we're starving, he can be eaten.
I lean
Yeah,
over to
and guess
Kane.
what? Urbot's spare parts to fix my
Kane
engine,
walks away.
Bessie and Bessie.
Do you want to go grab something stronger than a cup of tea?
Let's.
we both walk out of the room.
Hey, wait a second. Where are you going? Come back. We're not done talking.
Oh, we're not. You two seem to have it all
We're
under control
done with
for the
you
group.
talking.
So you're good for the job then.
I don't know what exactly I would provide.
You keep us from dying.
Right, I'd do that best when you got back to the ship.
Alright? You patch us up if we're near dying.
And you can shoot a blaster. You might not shoot it well, but you can shoot it in a general direction, right?
Oh, I prefer not to.
Wait.
I mean, Runt can show you how to shoot. Runt's great at shooting.
Oh, I know how it works.
Gives
I
you.
just choose not to.
Yeah, just get some
Wait.
pointers from Runt. He'll help.
If Quinn and Flynn agree on a job, that is bad because they never agree on anything. We do not want this, and we all walk away.
Wow, that is the way.
Wow.
Big guy makes point.
Am I right? They never agree on anything, so this has to be bad news if they both agree. It's
Wisdom.
a good.
Just because we never agree on something doesn't mean that it's bad news.
I just feel
Does
it's
make
always
sense.
best that someone stays on the ship, no?
Well, where we're going, there won't be much people around. Kind of deserted at the point.
Are
But
we
you
taking
said
the whole
lizards?
ship down? Are we taking the ship down from orbit or the shuttle?
You're already down from orbit. Ship's landed
Oh.
out in White Harbor.
I didn't realize that.
Sorry.
Then, yeah, I mean, I suppose I can accompany you, but again, I won't be of much help.
Viva, you sell yourself sore, sure. I gotta help talk you up a bit. You got game.
Oh, I prefer to think of a more realistic approach to how I sell myself. I know what my strengths are. Hunting is not one of them, especially wild animals.
Sure.
Oh no,
Run
he might be able to help us solve a puzzle wherever we're going. And there may be people that are still alive down there that are getting attacked by these dragons that you can help save their lives.
I've already agreed to go. Convince the other three. And I
Whoa.
walk out.
Mo, just think, have you ever ate dragon before?
No.
Yeah, could be tasty. We kill a couple of these things, stick some of them in a pot. You know,
If
we
you
make a
can
lizard
convince-
soup.
If you can convince Kane to go, then I will go.
Kane, we are ridding the area of a problem that is hurting people. Isn't that
Plus-
all about like balancing the way?
Well, yeah, plus there's also, there's stuff around there. Maybe you could find some more out about the way. Something you didn't know before.
Kane looks at Runt.
I am not where you think I am.
Oh,
I
where-
you
where
didn't
are
go to
you?
the meeting?
No, I'm eating. I went to go eat ramen, right?
Oh,
Well, they asked you to come hang out with them for a meeting. Did you go to the meeting? Like,
I guess I show up late.
okay.
You show
Eating
up just as we
steaming
say
hot
this,
ramen.
with ramen still hanging out of your mouth. And
What?
Kane looks at you.
I say, what?
it's nothing. Kane would say to Flynn and Quinn, it doesn't seem like you're telling us the whole story. And then he would give a little wink at Flynn.
I don't know, am I missing anything here? And I just look over at Quinn.
I guess you are. That's
We're
all right.
gonna
Well,
go
he'll
help
let
the
that
guy at
pass.
Planet side, and he's gonna, he's gonna scratch our back to help upgrade our bot. We're gonna scratch his back, take care of this problem. We do the
Take his,
problem. A favor.
Take this one apprentice over there, the vassal guy. Vassal, whatever you call him.
Okay, let's see what happens. I could run real fast.
That's good.
Okay, let's see what happens. I can't run very fast, but I am strong.
Why did running come into all of this suddenly?
Oh no worries. You'll be back there. That's food.
You don't have to run faster than the creature.
You just have to outrun the slowest person, yeah.
Okay. So as you're kind of reconvening after, I don't think you got everybody actually. Never mind. Cutting back away from talking. Continue.
Right, worst case, target practice. If they turn out to be beasties that just terrorize an area, mindless and whatnot, it'll help you sharpen your skills. And maybe give me some pointers while I'm at it.
He's nodding his head. All right.
Runt is a man of very few words.
Sounds like we've got a gig. But that said, a couple of things I want to kind of point out before we kind of move to. I think we're going to start next session with the engagement role and kind of more discussion as to what the job is. But I did want to close off by saying that when you get back to the bridge, Crunch says, just wanted to make sure you are aware. I do apologize for listening in again, but I wanted to make sure that you were aware that I was also monitoring the proudly sourced in Michigan. It does seem that a shuttlecraft has left the capital ship and has made its way towards the Cambion Belt. Presumably, in side of the craft was your last job's outcome. I believe that they have probably already commenced with negotiations with the hegemony and have moved towards the transfer of products and goods.
We call ourselves efficient.
Yeah.
Just wanted to make sure you were aware that that was the case. That's all.
All right.
Okay. So it's been a couple of days since you.
You don't think he's worthy of a name?
It's been a couple of days since you arrived on the Bradley, and have kind of engaged in your processes, training, etc. Yeah, we'll pick up with next session beginning kind of with you engaging more fully with the archivist and getting more details as to exactly what the job entails. And then we'll work out how you want to engage it, and we'll go through the engagement role process. All right, I'm going to go ahead and kill the stream. Thanks for watching.
Oh.
Stop the stream.